Hello and welcome to Fan Dummies. I'm Greg.
And I'm Erin.
And in this video, we are going to review Season 2 of Mythic Quest on Apple TV+. Did you know that we don't just make these videos for YouTube? That we have a full-length podcast where we go in-depth on Mythic Quest Season 2, where we talk about all sorts of stuff that you're never going to see on YouTube. You're going to have to look in the description box below. You're going to have to click the link. You're going to have to open it up in your podcast app. You're going to have to click download. You're going to put your ear pods in and listen to the show because it's awesome. I mean, just don't take my word for it. Listen to Erin.
It's amazing.
See, she wouldn't lie to you. All right, let's get started. The most important thing we need to bring up first when doing this review is the change in the tone of this season from season 1. Season 1 was a lot like Community, who we know share a common creative team. Mythic Quest and Community have a lot of co-creators that are the same. In an interview with Rob McElhaney on the Variety Awards Circuit podcast, what the heck podcast is that? It doesn't even make any sense. It's 4 words.
I don't know. I think it's a special podcast.
Why isn't he on our podcast?
I don't know.
Well, on this other person's podcast, he goes in depth explaining why it took a different direction in storytelling from season 2. Now, spoiler alert for mostly the YouTube comments, right? So, Erin's about to tell you. So, Erin, what did Rob McElhaney say in this interview?
He says that they already had written many of the season 2's episodes when COVID hit. Season 2 was supposed to start with an episode at the E3 conference. McElhaney says, "We had to essentially throw all of those scripts out and start over, and we were happy to do it because the world had completely changed. We were going to come back and shoot another season of the show that it would have to at least reflect it. The realities of where the world is at right now and where it was, according to the narrative as it picks up in season 2.
The short answer is they felt like season 2 didn't reflect the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they wanted to rewrite it post-COVID.
Yeah.
Which, I don't necessarily agree with. I think it's a TV show. It can be in any timeline that you want. I mean, if they wanted to go to E3 conference, who would sit in their house and go, they wouldn't go to that?
That would be a lot of people they would have to cast, and I don't think it could work, maybe.
Oh, that's probably true. They were going to have to create the conference, those thousands of people.
Yeah. But I mean, they are a video game company. They could have had them create the little characters.
Yeah.
Just imagine it.
Yeah, maybe that is true. Maybe it was the logistics of the shooting that they couldn't do.
I think it's just like an overall. Maybe they thought the world wasn't ready to move past COVID so fast.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give them a break then.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about Poppy Lee, who is played by Charlotte Nickdow on various podcast episodes.
She's always being thrown in the mix.
Dinner party!
I don't say it as good. I'm going to dub her in.
Yeah, dub her in. Since she's one of our favorite actors and really one of the best characters in all of Mythic Quest. So, Erin, what did you think of the other characters in season 2? Let's just say, Rob McElhaney, Charlotte Nickdow, they're awesome. Okay,
yeah.
We get it. Put them off to the side. Season 2 focused on supporting characters, essentially. What did you think of the characters?
Yeah, I like all of the characters in Mythic Quest. And I think that they trimmed it down for season 2 just to make it easier for production. But I really liked learning more about the backstory on some of these characters that we don't know much about.
I really like a lot of the supporting characters. I like Brad. I like Joe. I like the testers. I'm not like a super big backstory guy. I like a little backstory, but I don't like full backstory episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say the one exception was on the Shadow and Bone with the Darkling. I thought that was awesome. But for the most part, to me, backstory episodes are filler. And this was essentially an entire season full of filler.
Yeah.
So that I didn't love, but I see why they did it, because when you're doing a backstory, a lot fewer characters involved, a lot fewer actors, right? You're really telling a more personal story. You know, to me, I think it added a lot of depth to CW, which I genuinely disliked until this season. Even though I'm not really a backstory guy, backstories are not new for Mythic Quest. As a matter of fact, in Mythic Quest Season 1, they did a backstory on the building, which is the first time I've ever seen that done. And that episode was called A Dark, Quiet Death, which is the name of the video game that the people who were in the building before created. And that's what the backstory is about these previous video game developers that were in that building. Now, Rob McElhaney says the show is challenging itself to do at least one creative episode like this each season. Well, they reached their goal with this season, because it was like 80% these types of episodes.
Yeah.
At least. There were maybe one or two regular episodes, not counting the finale.
Yeah, definitely not normal like season 1.
No. So did you have a favorite episode, Erin?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the season finale as my
Okay.
favorite, because it felt the most Mythic Quest to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason. I really loved season 1 of Mythic Quest, and I think season 2 strayed from, the comedy that they created in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why and everything. And I still enjoyed some of the episodes, but not as fully as I would have if they were, more like the season 1. I go to watch Mythic Quest to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's a comedy, if I wanted to watch a drama, I think I would go pick something else.
Yeah, it was really kind of a bait and switch, honestly.
Yeah.
It didn't even feel the same at all.
Yeah, because it's like, am I supposed to be laughing? This is kind of uncomfortable situation sometimes.
Yeah, like it's too sad to laugh, really.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think that it was really quite the strange season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you have a favorite episode?
My favorite episode is Backstory ! Which is CW Longbottom's backstory. Now, this is not the best episode from season 2 by any means. It's my favorite because CW Longbottom is a Nebula Award-winning science fiction writer. And it goes into why and how he got his first and only Nebula Award, which is super interesting to me because he started his career as a copy editor for Amazing Tales Publishing, which is supposed to be amazing stories because they reference Isaac Asimov and Ursula K. Le Guin and Ray Bradbury, and those folks were all published in Amazing Stories. So my gut tells me they wanted to tell the Amazing Stories story, but they couldn't use the name or didn't want to use the name, so they took Amazing Stories and mixed it with Astonishing Tales to come up with Amazing Tales Publishing. Both Astonishing Tales and Amazing Stories were around in 1972, 1973 when this episode was supposed to be placed in. And one thing I really loved, like it made the whole thing for me, is that we got to see a lot of Isaac Asimov, and we learn that he rewrote CW's book. Basically every line and every word. And I think that's amazing. And then CW publishes it and wins the Nebula Award, which tells you that just it's Asimov's writing that wins those awards. It wasn't just him. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, these awards are political. They just give it to who they want and for whatever reason. And I just think it's kind of fun. Now, they said it was 1973, or that's what we infer is 1973 because he started in 1972 and we think it was a year later. The actual Nebula Award winner for 1973 is Arthur C. Clarke for Rendezvous with Rama, which I have read.
Oh.
And it's actually very, very good. So I definitely suggest anybody into science fiction go read Rendezvous with Rama. I saw an article from another magazine that quoted the 1974 Nebula Award winner as the year that CW won his award, which in that one, Isaac Asimov won the Nebula. Depending on what year you think this took place in, it was either Arthur C. Clarke or Isaac Asimov who won the Nebula in one of those 2 years. So as a big, huge science fiction nerd,
The biggest.
this is the coolest episode I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The story itself was absolutely terrible. CW is a horrible person. His friends are pretty terrible too. And it was sad because it's basically like a life wasted. And it made me feel bad for CW. And that was crappy.
Mm-hmm.
But the setting was amazing.
Yeah. He did find his life's calling, though, writing for video games.
Yeah, thanks to Ian.
Or Ian and Poppy found him at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that Mythic Quest does well is that it personifies this creative person that exists in a lot of these companies, like the Ian of the company, where they can see your strengths even though you can't. And what I really like about Mythic Quest is Ian sees that Poppy has that strength to be able to do that. She just hasn't manifested it yet. So all through season 1, he's coaching her to come out of the programming dungeon up to the creative director role to be his equal. That is such an amazing kind of story, in my opinion. I love that story.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in season 2, they have a big fight and break up, and it's a big brouhaha around the office, and they decide to write 2 different expansion packs, and all the craziness ensues.
That's Mythic Quest.
Yes, Mythic Quest. So, Erin, what would you rank season 2 of Mythic Quest? 1 to 5, 5 being best, 1 being, what's the worst show we've ever seen?
You mean movie? Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah, 1 being Rambo Last Blood, 5 being The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Where would you put Mythic Quest season 2?
I would say probably a 3.
Yeah.
If I would have known that they were going to change it up so much, like going into it, and I wasn't just sitting there and going, what are we watching, Gary? This isn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I might have liked it a little better.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that you go into it thinking it's a comedy, and then it's not. And then it's kind of like, oh, like you watch the episode and it just gives you the feels, and then you're just like, what am I watching? And I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really a fan of that episode in season 1. That was my least favorite episode.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The backstory one.
Yeah.
Agree. I appreciate it now more that I am more engrossed in the Mythic Quest fandom.
Yeah.
But you're right. Of all of season 1, that's the worst episode.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Ooh.
And really what I'm doing is I'm giving episode 1 a 5-star. I'm giving the final episode a 5-star. I'm giving my science fiction episode 4 stars, and I'm giving everything else 1 star.
Okay.
So it averages out to 2.5 star. Because I don't want people to listen to this and go, oh, I'm not watching it because it's terrible.
Yeah.
It is not terrible. It has some home run episodes, and it has some absolutely poo-poo, terrible, horrible, sad episodes that are not funny at all. You know what else I'm lumping in to get the 2.5 though? Is that awesome episode that they did, the one-shot episode. The one where they were playing the fantasy game. I'm including that episode too.
Yeah.
I'm not including the quarantine episode, which was amazing.
Uh-huh.
So funny. It was funny and sweet at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think you should watch this show because we need a season 3. And I think they will do a better job on season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove to you that you should watch it, Rotten Tomatoes Mythic Quest Season 2 has a 100% tomato meter.
Wow.
So 100% of people disagree with both of us.
Yeah, but how many critics?
26 is still, there's only 2 of us. So there's 26 people on this side, and then there's 2 of us on this side.
Yeah.
So chances are you're going to really like it. Now, the audience score is a little bit lower. It's 80%, and I would suspect this will drop. I think this is going to land somewhere in the 65% range if I were to guess.
Yeah.
It only has 75 user ratings right now. You know, if you watch Rotten Tomatoes, you know the critics judge on different things than the users judge.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what most users judge is, does it meet what they expected it to be? Right? So like they'll watch a Rambo and give it 100 because it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like a lot of the audience score, if it was negative, it was like, this isn't like season 1 at all. What's going on? Or something like that.
Exactly. It's the bait and switch that gets the audience all messed up.
Yeah.
Right.
I think if you weren't expecting a comedy and you knew it was going to be more of a drama, then I think that would be fine. And you'd probably end up loving the show.
Yeah. It's still good.
Yeah.
Like knowing what I know now, I would totally watch it still. But I tweeted after several episodes, Mythic Quest is dead. Because after the episode, I just felt like betrayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's just so different. That's
that's
exactly what we're getting at.
Exactly. I think they're picking up what we're putting down here. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Fandummies. What did you think of Mythic Quest Season 2? Give us your review down in the comments. We would love to hear from you. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. And if you're new around here, we talk about superheroes and science fiction, TV and movies every single week. We always love to hear from you. We are at Fandummies on all social media, so come give us a follow. You never know, it might be Erin that responds if it's Instagram. It might be Greg responds if it's Twitter. So, you know, our Instagram's about to go way up and our Twitter's about to go way down.
Aw. Oh.
All right, well, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
If you love this Mythic Quest video, there's probably some others up here that you should check out. Give them a click. Give them a click. Any of these right here. They're all super great. Thank you.